Bacon to Beans.
Hello everyone and welcome to From Bacon to Beans. Here with me is your lovely host Janine and my two co-hosts Erica and Theo.
Hello everyone.
Say
hey,
hi, guys.
How's it going?
So welcome. Today we really just want to talk about going vegan. It's a hot topic. It's been a hot topic for the last couple of years. We really want to talk about what are the barriers to going vegan? What makes it hard for you guys and ourselves, honestly, to transition over to eating healthier? So we came up with 5 different topics. Today we just want to talk about one. I think our most common one that we really always often get questioned about, right guys, is our protein. We are not able to get enough protein as vegans or as plant-based eaters. And I think that's always a common misconception here. Don't you guys think? I think
I do.
I definitely agree with you. Everyone always tells me, you know, you're feeling so tired lately. Are you getting enough protein? And I'm just like, what is protein? Jenny, can you let us know? What is protein?
Well, I'm pretty sure Theo and I can definitely help on that situation. Let's break it down, guys. Protein is a bunch of amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of our bodies. Is it the main source of energy though? Absolutely not. What's our main source of energy? I wonder.
Carbohydrates, guys.
Carbohydrates, guys. That's carbs. A lot of people are so scared of carbs. We're not talking about the simple carbs. No, we're not talking about white bread, white rice, and your favorite pastries. No, we're talking about complex carbs. That's going to be your fruits, your vegetables, and that's why it consists of more than half of your My Plate, which is on the USDA.gov, and that's a recommended daily plate that you should be eating. More than half of your plate should be coming from fruits and vegetables. That's where your main source of energy comes from. And in fact, the protein part of the My Plate is the smallest aspect of your diet. So it's kind of crazy how it's been unfolded and portrayed as the most important part of our diet when in actuality it really isn't. But let's go back to it. Are we as vegans, or if you believe that you are going to transition over to a plant-based diet, are you going to get enough protein?
The answer is simply yes.
Absolutely, yes. You're going to get protein from absolutely every single thing that you eat has some amount of protein in it. And today we have for you guys, we did a little comparison, looked it up, Googled it, did the math. So 18 slices of bacon are equivalent to 56 grams of protein per day, which is the average amount of protein for a male that's 31 to 50 years old. That's just your average male. So it would take 18 slices of bacon to get to 56 grams a day. How many beans, you ask? 1 1/3 cup of beans is going to get you to 56 grams per day. I don't know about you guys. I know there's a lot of bacon lovers out there, but 18 slices, that's pretty high up there.
Yeah.
I don't think that's possible.
I don't think anyone would really want 18 slices of bacon to get through their day. I mean, I'm sure there are people that are obsessed with bacon and would love that, but realistically, let's compare the health benefits here as well. We don't want to be detrimental. So
Of course.
All right, Jenny, I'd like to go back a second because when I think of carbs, I'm thinking pizza, bread, what else? Pasta. Oh my gosh. I love me some pasta.
Definitely. I mean,
So,
who doesn't love pasta?
Are you telling me that there are healthy carbs? What are they? I need to know.
Okay. All right. Some examples of healthy carbs. Any type of fruit. What are your favorite fruits, Erica?
I like bananas. I like strawberries, blueberries, any type of berries.
All the berries, of course.
Watermelon.
yeah. So
Watermelon.
I think all fruits, honestly. I
Okay.
like.
Then you have any of your vegetables as well. That's going to be, broccoli, spinach, green beans, also legumes. You can think of all the different types of legumes out there.
those are carbohydrates as well. And how about some grains?
And whole grains. So yeah, you can still have your cake and eat it too, and have your pasta and eat it too. It's just you want to make sure that you get the whole grain aspect of it. You want to think of when you're thinking of the white pastas and the white rice, you have to remember that everything has been refined. Refined means it's basically been stripped away of all the good ingredients that it originally had. And that's what a whole grain is. That's why it's called whole, because it's still intact.
Wow.
It's not as processed.
Got it. So when I'm thinking about eating carbs now, I'm going to go for whole grain breads, pastas. Is there a whole grain
Exactly.
pizza?
There's totally whole grain pizzas. And now there's a new crave out there of cauliflower crusted pizza.
Oh.
Have you heard of this?
Yes, I am on this craze. I love
so
anything
good.
cauliflower.
I think it's amazing. Anything the cauliflower rice.
Yeah, that's another big
Cauliflower
one.
rice, amazing. Super delicious. So there's so many different ways that you can get your protein out there. It's pretty crazy. And like I said, we were just talking about carbs. However, the carbs that you're going to be eating also have protein. I think that's another common misconception is that, okay, well, if I'm eating carbs, I'm not getting protein. No, you're getting both. That's why eating fruits and vegetables is a wholesome diet, because you're getting every single aspect of your recommended daily intake of nutrients. So that's going to be your main source. And that's why, obviously, there's different types of diets that you have out there. And being vegan does not mean that it's going to be healthy. How many times do we go over to there's vegan bakeries, which are favorite, Parlor, shout out.
Yes, Parlor Bakery.
What's the other
best.
one in Miami Lakes? Vegan Schmegan. Delicious cupcakes. And it's a
the
whole
list goes
different
on.
variety. The list goes on. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be 100% healthy. It's all what you make of it, and the choices that you make are going to ultimately lead to having enough protein.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. I think that's the bottom line.
Yes, and I also believe that everyone thinks that protein has to be the, what's highlighted the most in our diet. Everyone thinks that they need more than what they actually require. So going back to the daily recommended, value, it's 56 for males, about 46 for females, the average female. And really, we're getting way more than that. The
This is
average
true.
person is getting anywhere. I've heard people get 90 grams, 100 grams of protein a day. That they protein overload. It's a
really
bit
bad.
extreme. It
And
can
protein
be,
overload is
Yeah.
not good for you.
It's not. It can be.
I believe the only thing of
detrimental.
what, it can be detrimental in the sense if you're sedentary meaning that you are not necessarily that physically active. But if you are physically active, then, things change. You
Of
do
course.
want to add a little bit more protein, but not up to, you don't double, you don't go from 56 to 100 grams
Right.
of protein
So
per
I think that's
day.
important
insane.
for people to know as well, that you don't need as much as you really think you do.
Absolutely.
So it's easy. It's easy to get protein from a vegan or plant-based diet. It's just about knowing what to eat and to have a balance.
And I think the funny thing about it is that, we talked about it earlier that proteins are the amino acids. I don't know if you guys have heard, but, we have 22 amino acids that are the building blocks of our body. And there's a couple that are essential, meaning that we do not produce them in our body, so we need to get it from our diet. We need to replenish them with food. And it's funny because a lot of people believe that consuming meat is their primary source of protein. However, the protein that you're eating, that flesh of an animal, that animal itself also needs proteins. They have to intake those essential proteins as well, and they're getting it from plants. So this is going to be, you're essentially getting it from a third party instead of getting it directly from the source. Also have to keep that in mind
That's
as well.
a good point.
Wow. Let's go back a little because I didn't quite understand that. So you're telling me that meat doesn't really have as much protein as people think.
Meat definitely has protein.
But they
However.
get that protein. Where do the animals get that protein from?
The protein that animals get is from a primarily plant-based diet.
Yeah.
They eat whole grains and they eat vegetables.
At
They
least the
graze.
ones that people are eating, exactly.
The farm animals, when you think about it, the cows, the pigs, the chickens. I mean, those are not carnivorous animals. Those are animals that are eating plants.
Or at least
And-
should be eating, but that's a whole other...
That's a whole nother topic. Whole nother topic, and we'll definitely go into that one once.
And
got the
are they
ball rolling.
feeding these animals plants?
They are feeding them grains.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily whole grains, it's not the healthy grains. And we'll definitely talk more about that too if you guys are interested in that. And while we're on the subject, if you guys do have any interest or any questions, concerns, topics that you'd like us to talk about, we definitely encourage all of that, and definitely shoot us an email at frombacontobeans@gmail.com while we're on that subject.
Yes.
Also, yeah, so the animals don't eat a great diet, and we know that 70% of the antibiotics that the United States is actually producing right now is going towards farm animals. It's going in the feed that is feeding them. Why? Because they need a preventative source for them to not get sick,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Because they're in such inhumane parts and in inhumane, slaughterhouses and things like that, there's a lot of, infections and diseases,
Bacteria. Think about it. I mean,
So they need to eat these antibiotics as a way to prevent them from getting sick so that the meat doesn't get spoiled.
Gotcha.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of people don't think that, but there's a lot that goes into actually making your protein.
I think a lot of people don't really think about where they're getting their food from. And that's just, I guess.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
that's exactly
That's exactly why we're here. We're here to shed a light on it and help people realize and maybe take off those blindfolds and just take a step back and think about it. Like, how does this happen? And how does my meat that I buy from the supermarket and cook at home, how is the whole entire process? How do I get it? How did it become this?
Where was it produced? How was it produced?
Another question is, why do we even need food? I mean, I just love food because it's good and I like to eat. But
Do you mean like
Food.
animal?
no,
Food in
I think
general, you're saying.
when I think about food, I'm thinking it's going to fuel my body. That's what
Definitely.
I'm thinking.
Definitely.
Now,
You need
what is it that we need that's going to fuel our body?
Okay, that's a great
The
question,
right way.
Erica. The right way. Our bodies need food as an energy source, yes. But why is it that we need the energy? That food that we ingest is actually ingested and then broken down and fed to our cells. I don't know if everyone knows this, but we are made up of billions and trillions of tiny cells. That's what we are. And that's what food is primarily made for. When you go down to the biochemical level, that's why we need food, is to fuel our cells, which in turn keep our bodies functioning on a day-to-day basis, to feed our cells so that we have those basic bodily functions and cognitive ability to function on a daily basis. But if we start consuming excess amounts of food or
Too much of one macronutrient or not enough of a macronutrient, because that
what's
also,
the word I'm looking for? Empty calorie foods as well.
that too, yeah.
Foods that, and empty calorie foods, you mean what we're talking about is the food that is not going to be nutritionally beneficial for you. So when you eat empty calorie foods and an excess of macronutrients, then what happens is your body doesn't know what to do with it. It already has enough fuel for all your cells. It already has enough energy for all your cells. It's already filled up all your glycogen stores, which is, your backups in case you do run out of fuel. Then that's when it starts making adipose tissue. It doesn't know anything else to really do. And that's what creates fat.
So it's all about a balance, really.
It's all about a healthy, balanced diet.
Got it. And I guess that's what the My Plate is for.
That's what the My Plate is for. It's on USDA.gov. And it's just a plate. And it says your recommended daily sources. It's half fruits, half vegetables, tiny portion of protein, and then tiny portion of whole grains. Dairy is on the side. We're not a fan of it. Conspiracy theory segments. Supposedly that it was added in after the My Plate was initially formed. And basically due to the dairy industry wanting to be a part of your daily diet. But it is not a necessity. There is in no way, shape, or form that dairy is needed in the diet.
Well,
We
that's
are
for another
living proof.
topic, right?
That's a whole nother topic right there. But yes.
We'll get to that
Definitely.
one because I disagree on that one. But
What do you think? Any other questions on protein?
protein, I think you answered all my questions, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
All right,
that
so
was most of it.
Let's do a little wrap up here.
all right, let's wrap it up. And thank you guys so much for listening to From Bacon to Beans. Again, if you do have any questions about our podcast or want a list of our references that we use for this podcast, you can find it on our website at frombacontobeans.com. And you can also email us at frombacontobeans@gmail.com.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you guys.
Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.
See you soon.
Visualize it.